Okay, domain and range notes. So make sure you have a marker, two highlighters or two markers, because we're going to be highlighting during the notes. So make sure you write down everything that I write down. So here we have the domain and range. So the domain of a function is all the x values or inputs. Okay, so the domain of a function is all the x values or inputs. Range of a function is all of the y values or outputs. Okay, now another way to think about it is domain is your set of x's, and then range is your set of y's. Okay. All right. So let's look at these two situations here. The first one here, we have what's called a continuous situation. So Sally the cat knocked over the 20-ounce bottle of soda. The bottle starts draining. Okay. Notice now this is a continuous situation, and the reason why is because remaining ounces in the bottle, that is measured. Okay, so when we have a continuous situation, okay, any type of situation where we measure, it is going to be continuous. Okay, so that's why we have a solid line here. A solid line means we have a continuous situation, or a connected line means we have a continuous situation. Okay. Alright, so this is where you need to get your marker or highlighter. So our domain is our set of x values. Well, for this situation, the domain is going to be all of our x's starting with 0 and going all the way out here to 10. Okay, so this is going to be our domain right here, going from 0 to 10. So to write that, okay, so our lowest element in our domain is 0. And we're going to go less than or equal to. Now domain is x, and then less than or equal to 10, just like that. And so now our range works the exact same way, except it's going to be along the y-axis. So we're going to be on the y-axis. All right. So with a different highlighter or marker, we're going to be going up the y-axis, just like this. So from the tallest point down to 0, this is going to be our range. Okay, so this is our range. So our range is going to be written like this for a continuous situation. So we start at 0, we go up to 20. So it's going to be less than or equal to y less than or equal to 20. Okay, so now we have a discrete situation over here. All right, so when you have a discrete situation, the dots are separated. All right, so we can tell this is a discrete situation because Dustin is tracking his number of followers on TikTok after each video he posts. Okay, so number of followers or the number of videos, okay, that is counted. We count videos, we count followers. We don't measure them, okay? So when we count, that means we have a discrete situation, and so the dots are separated. So notice here we just have dots. We don't have a connected line. So when you see dots, that means discrete, okay? All right, so we write for a discrete situation, we're going to write our domain and range a little differently. All right, so we're going to list them out in set notation, just like this. Okay, so make you a squiggly with your pencil, and then our first x value here is going to be 0, and then the next one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to write them like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just like that. The range is going to be the same way. The y value here is 0. The y value here is 10, okay? The y value here would be 25, so we'll write them like this. So we're going to go 0, 10, that's 25. That will be 45, so 25, 45, okay. Oh, where'd 45 go? Oh yeah, right there. And then here 4, we go up to 60, so our next one will be 60. And we just want the y values. We'll call that 65. This is 80. And then this is 100. Okay? And then we close our set notation just like this. Okay, so turn over. Alright, so let's review. First of all, let's review real quick. So again, continuous situation means is when we measure, and if it's continuous, then we have a connected line like this. In a discrete situation where we count, so we count the number of TikTok followers, we're counting the number of videos, okay? So we're going to write the domain and range like this, comma separated, okay? Alright, so that's what this pretty much covers right here. This kind of reviews that. So again, we'll say this is less than, greater than. So if you have less than or greater than, you're going to use that if you have an empty dot, and you'll see that on your practice. Less than or equal to, that's a filled in dot. Greater than or equal to, that'll be a filled in dot as well. And we'll look at some examples down here. Now also, domain and range of a discrete problem, again, we list out the x's and y's in set notation. Alright, so now let's find the domain and range of the following graphs. So the domain here, you notice we have an empty dot. So we're talking about the domain, so we're going to go x, and all values of x greater than -4 are going to be in our domain, so we're just going to go greater than -4. Notice it's an empty dot, so we're just going to use the greater than. So again, all x values greater than -4, that's how you would write it. And then the range is going to be all y values greater than -1. Okay, again, it's an empty dot, so we're just going to go y greater than -1. Okay, so now let's look at this one. So our domain here, notice the arrows, okay? So notice the arrows here, so that means it goes on and on and on and on, okay, both ways. So our domain here is just going to be all real numbers. Okay, because this is getting wider and wider and wider as it goes, okay? And then the range is obviously going to be all real numbers too, because it keeps going and going and going, and it keeps going and going and going. So it'll be all real numbers. Okay. Alright, and so now let's look at this. So on this one, I'm going to let you do this one. Okay, so on this one, you need, once you finish it after the video, you're going to finish it and let Mr. Adams check it. Okay, so I'll give you a hint. Okay, so you let Mr. Adams check this one. Okay, alright, so let's look at this one. Alright, so I'm not going to answer this one for you, but I will get you started. So the total cost of dollars to buy uniforms for the players on a volleyball team can be found using this function, where U is the number of uniforms bought. So make sure you highlight number of uniforms bought. If there are at least 8 players, but no more than 12 players, okay, on the volleyball team, what is the domain of the function for this situation? So I got you started on that one by highlighting this phrase and this phrase, okay? So answer this one, and then also this is a different question, so you're going to plug this into Desmos and then read over these answer choices and select the correct one. So you'll take this one, and this one to Mr. Adams, and he'll check them. All right, thanks.